this is a drug. I do enjoy, sometimes late at night after I've played the show and I'm kind of tired and I've had a couple too many, I'll put my headphones on and listen to some really great, I don't know, some just bizarre music. And I mean, so that's definitely not a totally sober experience. But I mean, I don't think, I would never want to go on camera and tell people that they should take drugs to listen to music. I think it's something that's fundamental in all of us that I don't think we need that. I think it's a more individual thing. That said, I did lots of LSD when I was younger, and it's contributed heavily to a lot of the things that I think and believe about the universe now in my older years. There is a fascination right now with psychedelic music, and maybe psychedelic is it's almost like a catch-all phrase, and it's also cool. So if you say psychedelic, it kind of makes you immediately seem somewhat like bohemian or high all the time, and it's just an easy way to say there's an emphasis on sound that is trance-like and boggling and pans this way. It's a real explosion of sound that kind of, you're trying to make it go outside of the perimeters of your headphones. What I'm trying to tap into is sort of that idea of that timeless sound, or just psychedelic, a simple delay pedal can be, it's used a million times, but I think there's something really exciting about the way something loops and repeats and echoes and comes back. It's kind of like, almost in a weird way, it's like a sixth sense, like the ability to sort of take a moment in the past and relive it in really quick intervals. It's almost like telepathy, or like understanding something before it's going to happen. I live in the city now, but I still feel like, there's these sounds that they're more universal. They kind of go beyond just city versus country versus electronic music versus rock music versus dance music. It's all, there's some more like, I don't know, primitive things.
We're nervous. We're really nervous because it's true. It's like a first date, and we're shy, and we're afraid that you won't want to have dinner with us again, but we really like you. It's awkward, but we really want to fuck you, and we don't know how. We're hoping to get a chance if you'll have us again, so.
We're not so much as makers or creators. We're more like finders, and kind of like you say, finders keepers. We'll go to a pawn shop or secondhand store and look for something that makes noises or beats, or something. Quite often there'll be a small keyboard, battery operated, maybe something from the 80s that a kid would have had or something. We find things like that because they're really cheap. I mean, you pay like, it'd be like €2 or something for a small keyboard. We like that because it's kind of like, not only do you find it and use it in a way that's maybe it's not meant to be, but you're also searching inside yourself to try to find some way of making it musical and trying to bring as much to it as you can. I had a job working in the film editing room before I left to pursue music. So in the editing room, I was working on one, and I really liked the way it sounded. So I just picked up one from there and basically salvaged a bunch of audio tape that was about to be thrown out. So my folks, they moved to rural Nova Scotia before I was born, but with them they brought some of their musical influences that they had growing up in the US and moved to a pretty remote part of the world where there wasn't a lot of influence. There wasn't a lot of new influence, so basically we kind of hold ourselves away in the woods for a while, kind of like little feral children of the woods with nothing but these, soon becoming out-of-date records that, they didn't really pick up on any new trends. There wasn't a lot of 80s or there wasn't a lot of disco or anything, but my mom really held on to her favorite records, which were Led Zeppelin and Neil Young and albums that I very much enjoy still. So when I listen to them now, I ask myself that question, like, what are my first memories of these songs? And I really don't have any first memories because they were always there. So it's an interesting feel. It's an interesting kind of nostalgia because it's not for a particular moment. It's just more than anything. It feels kind of like part of life or part of the existing universe, like a certain haunting reverb, psychedelic guitar will be, it's kind of like timeless, like the sound of a, wind and it sounds cheesy, but it's true. Or the sound of a loon on a lake and, just these things you grow up with, these sounds that remind you of your youth. I guess, oddly enough, I hear Neil Young and Led Zeppelin and I think of my youth.